Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the Takhtajans system of classification. Students, in our previous lecture, we have seen the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. The Bentham and Hooker system of classification were based on the natural system of classification. But today we are going to see the system based on the phylogenetic system of classification, that is Takhtajan system of classification. Armand Takhtajan is a renowned biologist and systematist of 20th century. He developed a classification system in the year 1942 for flowering plants, that is the angiospermic plants. His actual system appeared in German in the year 1959 in his book called Die Evolution der Angiospermen. Later on, his work published in English in 1969 in the book called Flowering Plants Origin and Dispersal. Students, Armand Takhtajan considered angiosperms to be monophyletic in nature, that they arose from the ancient group of gymnosperm. Even he considered the monocotyledons derived from the primitive dicots. He divided the angiosperm, that is Magnoliophyta, into two classes, Magnoliopsida, also known as dicotyledons, and Liliopsida, known as monocotyledons. The Magnoliopsida, that is dicotyledons, is primitive, and Liliopsida derived from the Magnoliolales, which is the subclass of the Magnoliopsida. The Magnoliophyta, you can see, is divided into Magnoliopsida, that is dicotyledons, and Liliopsida, that is monocotyledons. In the year 1980, the two classes further divided into 10 subclasses, in which 7 comes under the Magnoliopsida and 3 comes under the Liliopsida. Later on, the same classification system is revised in 1997, and then these two classes, that is Magnoliopsida and Liliopsida, is further divided into 15 subclasses, in which 11 comes under the Magnoliopsida and 5 comes under the Liliopsida. So here you can see the 11 classes which had come under the Magnoliopsida and the 5 classes which had come under the Liliopsida. In the Magnoliopsida, Magnoliidae is the most primitive one and the Asteridae is the most advanced subclass. So let's see the principle for classification of plants. So Takhtajan gave based on few principles like growth habit, leaves, stomata, nodal structure, woody anatomy, inflorescence, floral structure, androecium, gynoecium, ovule, pollen grains, pollination, gametophyte, seeds, fruits. These all were the characteristics based on which the classification system was given. He considered the woody plants are primitive than the herbaceous plant. The precious woody plants are considered evolved from the evergreen plants. He even considered the xylem fibers evolved from the tracheids to the labriform fibers. Even he said that trilacunar or pentalacunar nodes are primitive to the unilacunar nodes in the nodal structure. He said the stomata with the subsidiary cells are primitive than the stomata lacking the subsidiary cells. The cymose inflorescence is primitive than the racemose inflorescence. Flowers with an indefinite or variable number of floral parts are primitive. He said pollen with unsculptured exine is primitive to the sculptured pollen. Apocarpus gynoecium is primitive, and in case of the ovule, bitegmic ovules are primitive than the unitegmic ovules, while the Anatropus ovules is most primitive one. So these were the few characters. Even in case of fruits, many seeded follicles is most primitive. So let's see the merits of the Takhtajan system of classification. It reflects the evolutionary relationship. As I mentioned earlier, this system is based on the phylogenetic type, so hence it reflects the evolutionary relationship. It is based on 67 phyletic principles. Then the angiosperm, that is monophyletic, and the monocots to have originate from dicots. So angiosperm are treated as one division known as Magnoliophyta. Families are small homogeneous units comprising closely related genera. So due to this character, it becomes easy for us to study the classification. Then there are few demerits. Even these demerits are also present. Those were the main drawback is derivation of monocots from the sock ancestral of nymphaeals. The narrowing defined taxa have resulted in unwanted splitting of related groups. The system is although is phylogenetic but still not helpful for the classification of to the up to the family level. So here you can see the demerits of the Takhtajan system of classification. So students, if we talk about the Takhtajan system of classification, the thing which we should keep in mind is that Takhtajan divided the angiospermic plants into two classes, that is Magnoliopsida and Liliopsida. Further in 1980, these two classes were divided into 10 subclasses, in which the 7 had come under the Magnoliopsida and 3 had come under the Liliopsida. In the year 1997, the same classification is being revised by Sir Armand Takhtajan, and then he divided these two classes into 15 subclasses, in which the 11 subclasses comes under the Magnoliopsida and the rest one comes under the Liliopsida. In the Magnoliopsida, Magnolioels is the most primitive one and Asteridae is the most advanced one. So, you have seen the whole classification. Hope you all have got the points from the classification system. In our next lecture, we will see with the new topic. Till that, thank you everyone and keep studying. All the best.